Now, my guest heads the CNN Bureau for West Africa. And when you hear CNN, you're thinking those big, big words. But she's a nice, beautiful Nigerian girl who was hired out of London to come and do this. It's my pleasure to welcome on the set Stephanie Busari.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
What was your first thought when you were transferred to Lagos?
I was over the moon. I've been trying to come back home for a long time. I was born here in Lagos, and I moved out when I was 12. So after more than 20 years away and living in London with a few breaks in a few other countries, I just felt it was time to come back home. You know, it's easy to sit abroad and complain, and I just feel like I should be here to impact this society in any way I can.
Did you think you'd be able to do that with your job, though?
Well, absolutely, because the stories that I want to tell are different stories about Africa, about different stories about Nigeria, you know. Even when I was working in London, I met so many dynamic, resourceful, amazing young people. And I just wanted the world to know about them. And so that really drives a lot of the journalism that I do, is telling different stories about this part of the world. We all know about the suffering and, all of the bad things, but, you know, we're more than that.
So have you been able to do a lot of positive stories out of here? And which one would you think has been more touching for you? Because I saw how you handled the Boko Haram, the release of the girls.
Yes. So that story is a bit of a personal crusade for me, to be honest. I've been working on that one since, you know, it broke 3 years ago. I've become close with the family members. I got a first interview with one of the girls, the first girl who escaped, Amina Ali. I got the video of them that showed that they were still alive. So it's very personal to me. But, you know, I interview people, you know, people like the lady who founded Recyclers, you know, just really positive stories. We just did, and we shine a light on the artists and the designers, you know, people like Ejiro, Mustafiri, you know, people who are just
You're rediscovering your own country.
Absolutely.
Even, and working at the same time, so it must be fun.
Yes, it is. It's a lot of fun. I mean, events, non-stop events in Lagos.
But tell me though, let me go a little bit to the Boko Haram story. Have you heard people say things like, oh, that thing was all cooked up? It never really happened.
Well, interestingly, I just gave a TED talk at TED Lagos about this very issue. I was talking about fake news and how fake news can be destructive. And I used the Chibok girls as an illustration of how fake news, people who you know, spread fake news can destroy lives, because I really feel that narrative contributed to the delay in rescuing these girls. For 3 years, I've heard this story is a scam. You're being naive. You don't understand how we work here in Nigeria. You know, this was cooked up by enemies of Jonathan. You know, I've heard it all. And I'm saying categorically that this is not a fake story.
At least you've touched and felt these girls. You've spoken with them.
Absolutely. You know, over the years, we've interviewed so many parents who, if they're acting, deserve to be holding Oscars. Yes, exactly. So, you know, it's a story that Nigerians really need to take seriously, because it is not a scam.
So tell me why you chose journalism. Was it a conscious decision?
Yes, I've always wanted to be a journalist since I was like 12 years old. I had a really great teacher who encouraged me in my writing, and also, but I'm curious about life, about people. I love to ask questions. I love to find out why people do the things they do, and I love to tell stories.
Why would I describe you as bold? Because of the stories, it was Chibok's story first, the attraction, coming back home and coming to set up. Because this is the first time CNN is setting this up.
Yes.
They used to have reporters come in here.
Well, so they've had reporters kind of reporting out of here over the years, but this is the first time they're setting up a digital bureau.
Absolutely.
So we're very focused on, you know, Africa's a young continent, and, you know, a vast majority are on mobile, they're on social, you know, so this is what
So were
CNN...
you scared? That's the question. Were you scared of having this responsibility? So you must have you must have had to have some level of boldness to accept it.
I mean, I'm a very determined person, so I never get scared. Everyone has kind of challenges that you have to overcome, but I wanted to do it, so already that just made it even a very exciting venture. There are days where I get like a bit apprehensive, but I love what I do, so I'm not scared.
Okay.
Yeah.
Since you're not scared, I want to take yourself and Agatha up on the whole issue of women and the narrative of the media and how we can change all of that when I return from the break.
Okay.
Thank you very
Wonderful.
much. I'll be right back.
Thank you.
So don't go away. We're back in a few. Yes, welcome back. I'm still in the studios with two lovely ladies who are doing what I love to do, interviewing, and I'm the one doing the interviewing now.
Yeah.
It can be fun. I know how awkward it can be, but it's nice to have you. Like I said at the beginning, it's a narrative. I think the narrative would change if more women owned media. Now, I know what challenges you're having. I don't know if, for example, if CNN was owned by a female, it would make a difference. What do you think, Stephanie?
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest, because a lot of my colleagues and, my bosses are women, like throughout, right to the top of the organization. CNN has a lot of women leaders, a lot of them very inspiring, and, one of the most best-known anchors in the world is obviously Christiane Amanpour.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
She's, she's at CNN. I don't know that it necessarily would, to be honest. Yeah.
What do you think, though?
I usually, I don't think it's about gender, really. I honestly don't. I think it's how you see yourself and what story you want to tell. Women will tell stories from a female point of view. Sometimes that may be biased, sometimes it may be true. But I think it'll be boring if women owned all the
media in the world.
I mean, we need to balance it out.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I notice working here as a journalist is that women don't get to speak very often on panels, and so this is
They don't invite them.
Yeah, so that's something I would love to see change, and I don't know if more women were running organisations like here and in other places that might change, I think women should be given that voice, to kind of appear on panels. Even actually in the West, BBC's organising specific courses for women. They want more women to be experts on their air.
I think there's some
it's a global problem.
I mean, on this side of the divide, there's some kind of stereotyping. Like when you come into a media house, what do you find the females doing?
Presenting.
They're either presenters, front desk.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of jobs that you find for women. And so we go for an NBC forum, and then they're saying, you know what, studies have shown
the NBC is the Nigerian Broadcasting.
Yeah, and then they say, and somebody gets up and says that women only watch telenovelas.
Oh, wow.
And men watch the news. And I'm saying to them, I don't even know what channel the telenovela channel is.
I tell my brother.
So, so, I mean, you can imagine that you're already boxed, and so nobody expects... They seem to think that because you're female, there's a kind of way you should... There's a perception of where you belong.
Yes.
And is that still going on, though? I just wonder, because, I mean, can't we love all of those things? Telenovelas, sports, news, whatever.
Well, it's how we're being programmed to. And I think those decisions are being made by men, largely.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Because it's a media programming,
yes,
as far as I'm concerned. So an advertiser wants to advertise female brands. He would not put it on a, let me use the word, serious program. He's going to look for drama. He's going to look for telenovelas. He's going to look for things that talk about women. And then when he wants to advertise male brands, he's going to look for the news. And he's going to... I mean, it's just that media stereotyping.
It is
and
stereotyping.
so from the onset, I mean, you're programmed to believe that if you like sports as female...
You're odd.
You're odd.
Yeah.
That's not normal.
So
But aren't they odd? Are they odd?
They're not odd.
They're not
They're
odd.
not odd. I think we need to look at the realities of it. So if I'm an advertising exec, I'm going to look at the numbers. Which are the people that are watching these specific things that I want to reach, which audience, which demographic. So I don't necessarily see that as a bad thing that they target specific programming, because that's where they're going to get eyeballs.
Yeah.
But where it becomes problematic for me is when you assume that that is all women are interested in, or that is all that they can do, and then it just becomes, like you say, like a stereotype.
Okay, now let's go back. Doesn't this go back to the family? Because that's why with this International Women's Month, I'm also trying to look at the issue of, I mean, I have been able to break out because I believe I came from a family that was in a particular way. Is that the same thing for you and for you?
Absolutely. My family prides education very highly.
For boys and girls?
For boys and girls. I mean, I'm the first of four, so I was always encouraged to be the leader, to, whatever you do. I was, they were harsher with me in a way. Whatever you do, your brothers will follow, so make sure that you excel and make sure, so I was encouraged to excel. I was encouraged to be the best I could be in everything. It's a typical, oh, why didn't you come first? Oh, but I'm second. I came second. Why didn't you come first?
Yeah,
but
I think that's important, and that's where women, I would say, have a huge role to play. My house, my brothers cook.